So I recently bought another car, and it's this. The cheapest MR2 I could find on AutoTempest.com. And as you can see, the previous owner had some unique tastes. Now, a lot of you might call this car divisive, crass, or even offensive, but I prefer to think of the previous owner as avant-garde, an artist working his craft, and it's difficult to perceive the mind of an artist. Now, I'm going to walk you around the car and try to explain to you why I would take such a huge risk in buying a rolling installation like this, but first, I'm going to tell you where you can go to find something as artistically dangerous as this for yourself.
AutoTempest. AutoTempest is an online car classifieds aggregator, basically a search engine that collects most of the cars for sale on the internet into one place. Let's say you search for a 2001 MR2 and set the price to $4,300. Everything on cars.com, eBay Motors, TrueCar, etc. will be pulled up on one page that you can peruse at your leisure, along with all the links to Craigslist and soon Facebook Marketplace. Granted, you may not get a whole lot of results at that price point because most MR2 Spyders are a good bit more expensive than that. Unless, of course, it's an example as bold as this one. You see, true art is never appreciated in its own time. Artists have always used the services of patrons who bankroll their creative endeavors. I guess you could say I was that West Virginia man's patron of the arts when I rolled up with a truck, trailer, and $4,300 cash.
Now, the previous owner told me that he wanted the car to resemble the Marvel superhero Iron Man, hence the gold wrap on the red paint. But when it came to the logo, he said that his girlfriend wouldn't ride in the car unless it had the Batman symbol on it. Compromise. The wheel situation, these are Motegi somethings. I don't think it's the sharpest design, especially not on this car. But art isn't safe, and luckily the previous owner was able to tie the whole look together with these exquisite lug nuts, and this is the lug nut key. Incredible. Now everybody knows that good art is subversive, so in order to blend in with all those wide-body scene kids, the previous owner carefully and lovingly riveted this flare to the fender of the car. And then, in order to space out the wheels, he used no less than 4 inches of wheel spacers. And thanks to those spacers, every time you turn left, the car will violently vibrate. Self-massaging seats, that's ingenuity. But clearly the widened track of the car didn't provide sufficient mechanical grip for what the previous owner was looking for, because he then installed this very functional rear wing along with this incredibly tasteful sticker. Now keep in mind, this is a man who did not have a valid driver's license, did get pulled over and had the car impounded. This is a man who suffers for his art. But the aerodynamics don't stop there. In order to generate more of an air vortex underneath of the wing, the previous owner then installed what can only be described as little rockets. Substance and style. This custom exhaust showcases some pretty wild fab work, including custom hangers and some gorgeous welds. The resulting sound would put a Ferrari V12 to shame. Inside, the restraint continues, as you can see, with this extremely tasteful seat cover, the katana, where the previous owner has clearly taken inspiration from the Muromachi period in Japan, and then black ice that you can almost smell through the camera. Now, as you can see, this was a man with a keen eye for style and a real car enthusiast. He said he was going to install Lambo doors on the car until he found out you have to be able to weld. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to match the vision that this man had for this car, so I think I'm going to have to start from scratch, which means undoing absolutely everything he did to this car. This is going to be really satisfying.
Here we see the North American MR2 Spyder in its habitat of choice, a dark, cool garage hidden away from the eyes of predators and haters. The Spyder uses its natural courtship display, LED underglow from China, to attempt to attract a driver. The resulting light show is one of nature's most beautiful displays.
right, we are done with the nature documentary vignette. Now we're going back to the art analogy. So, in art, with paintings, it is not uncommon for artists to completely paint over an old work, whether it's an artwork by another painter that didn't want it anymore, or one of their old works that they no longer appreciate. In order to save canvas, sometimes they'll just completely paint over them. There's also, to a lesser extent, a technique known as pentimento, which is painting over a small portion of an artwork in order to make a tweak or completely thematically change the painting. Pentimento is Italian for repenting, and repentance is kind of the theme of this whole car. After a certain amount of builds that you see, you eventually get a feel for when you're looking at the work of an expert, right? And that's exactly what we're looking at here, right? And a true craftsman. And you can tell kind of with like the holes that the previous owner put into the trunk in order to mount this wing. I mean, that's just artistry right there. Okay, Luke, be very careful with this.
Yes.
Okay, go put it somewhere safe.
Okay.
Okay, now that Luke has carefully stored the wing, we are going to start working on some of these other exterior modifications. Oh my gosh, it's got double seat covers. there's a seat cover on top of a seat cover. There's two seat covers. What? Now, obviously, I have huge respect for the previous owner's artistic instinct and even thinking to have installed this katana shifter. However, I have a bone to pick with his commitment, because if you look here in the glove box, what's this? It's the OEM shift knob. I mean, if you're gonna do something like this, throw this in the garbage. There's no going back. It's katanas all the way. Wow, that is so much better. So there's a couple other easy interior bits that we can remove, starting with this steering wheel cover. I actually just now noticed this. The car has a faux trim, faux stitching on it. So this is, these are adhesive strips that are meant to look like stitching. I just love the attention to detail, you know what I mean? And there goes the clear coat. You know what? Honestly, not that bad. Does not look like it has very much in the way of rust. Pre-cats are gonna have to come out. Oil pan, pretty wet. We got something for that. I have bought much worse looking cars underneath. So we are going to be removing the LED lights that the previous owner had on the car, because we have a lot of wires that are running underneath the car. A lot of wires. So we're gonna start that removal process, just chasing stuff down. I see already it's going underneath some of these splash guards and stuff. So yeah, let's get to hunting. Let's get to tracing. We found the nest.
I think he was trying to wire this in to make the taillights do alternate stuff, but he wired it into two of the wrong ones. Because you can see the wires are like burned here, and then he just like taped them off and then wired it, finally got the one he wanted. Wow. This is an incredible find.
Luke, can you put that somewhere safe for me, bud? Yep. Thanks.
Ta-da! It's all the LED. Gone. Finito.
Now, obviously, fitment like this does not come for free, and we're about to see what the previous owner had to go through in order to get this gorgeous setup right here. Wow! Right on the money. So that means in the rear, I was incorrect at the beginning of this video. In the rear, there are 5 inches worth of spacer.
Wider track width means better cornering, right?
There you go, less oversteer. You know, MR2s are famous for it.
Keeps the rear end planted.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously with the spacers taken out, we're not gonna be able to have sufficient offset to fill out this bad fender. So I guess these flares are just gonna have to go, unfortunately. But got my drill right here. We're gonna take out these rivets real quick, safety glasses, and we'll be back to a blank canvas.
All right, so we have done pretty much everything on the car. Just got these fender flares off. So, you know, we see what we have to work with, some holes in the fender and whatnot. Took the spacers out, took the wheels off. Interior is stripped mostly. Got the wrap and all that stuff off. Now we just need to take off this custom exhaust, which means working with these custom hangers, which look conspicuously like coat hangers. But this is no coat. This is a high-end exhaust. So, you know, we will tread lightly here.
The exhaust I just pulled off the Civic. I was doing a little bolt check under there. Saw all those bolts. So
this is a mass-produced header. You know, this is a standard piece of hardware you might find in the aftermarket. But it's not artwork like, you know, something that a genius would make, right? This is a one-off custom piece, right? Ben, are you aware of the definition of the word bespoke?
yeah, that's custom.
This is bespoke. Yeah, this is custom. You know, I mean, you can see the handiwork
The sticker from the hardware
of a
store.
master.
Yeah. You still even have a coat hanger stuck in it.
I do, yeah. I mean, the way he put it in was just, you know.
Some bumper paint on there.
Some bumper paint, almost as though it melted the bumper. But,
He probably didn't even cut the hole for the bumper. He just let it melt itself in.
maybe, yeah. But I mean, again, you know, art is dangerous in that, like, you might start a fire. Again, thanks to AutoTempest.com for helping me find the perfect canvas to paint my own masterpiece. If you're considering trying your hand out at the arts, consider AutoTempest your paint supply store. Anything from pristine examples to real fixer-uppers, you can find it there. We've included some links to example searches for MR2s below, or just hit the link in the description to the AutoTempest homepage and search for whatever's your next canvas.
All right, well, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. This is all the stuff that we have taken off of the car. Tons and tons of, I'm gonna say garbage. Yeah, this car was completely tastelessly modded. It was a disaster, and it has been extremely satisfying to take off a bunch of crap that didn't need to be there. And in the next episode, we have some modifications of our own to do to the car, which will be extremely satisfying. But until then, last thing, I guess, Luke, if you could take this and go put it somewhere befitting of its craftsmanship.
Yep.
But the aerodynamics don't stop there. He also applied these little penis rockets.
Bro, it kept going forever. It's like half a mile away.
The resulting sound would put a Ferrari V12 to shame.
Just for the record, we did not litter.
We're model citizens.